This is the McAllister House, located in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Built in 1873, this historic home is the oldest house in Colorado Springs. The House Museum itself opened in 1961, where visitors can see the unusual construction of the home. It is the only historic home in Colorado Springs that maintains the original floor plan designed by architect George Summers. Parts of the home reflect the influence of the Gothic Revival, but it remains a simple farmhouse in many ways. Andrew Jackson Downing, in his book The Architecture of Country Houses, lists the McAllister House as a farmhouse in the English rural style. Major Henry McAllister moved to the area from Philadelphia at the invitation of General William Jackson Palmer, where the two helped establish Colorado College and the railroad system in Colorado. He brought with him his wife, Elizabeth McAllister, and their 3 children, Mary, Matilda, and Harry. Winfield Scott Stratton is responsible for the interior and exterior finish work of this house. He often carved extensive patterns into his woodwork. Examples of this can be seen on the front and back porches of the home. The main identifying traits of Stratton's work are knobs and notches, which he often carved into door frames. Although imperfect, these small details add character and charm to this simplistic home. It is referred to as a low Victorian house, pointing to the middle-class status and simple Quaker lifestyle of the McAllisters. Upon entering the home through the front door, the parlor is directly to the right. This space was used by the McAllisters to receive company and host gatherings. The parlor contains many original furniture pieces, such as this couch that was gifted to Mary McAllister on her wedding day from General Palmer's family. An important feature in the parlor is the pocket windows that provide another entrance and exit to the front and back porches. The bottom of the windows slide up into the second-story wall, almost acting like vertical pocket doors. The Palmers also gifted Henry and Elizabeth these Victorian his and hers chairs with a matching footstool for their marriage. The chair backs are Rococo style. The ladies' chair lacks armrests in order to accommodate the full Victorian skirts of the day. The melodeon in the parlor is also original to the house. It was a birthday gift to Matilda McAllister from architect George Summers. The organ-like instrument is in excellent condition since the McAllisters only used it as a table. The next room in the house is Major McAllister's library, where he conducted business in Colorado Springs' first real estate office. Customers would enter through the back door, which is now covered. The library is also the only room in the house with a closet. Important features of both the library and parlor are the white Italian marble fireplaces. The marble was transported from Pennsylvania and features a keystone to represent the Keystone State. The library also contains these original leather chairs where Henry McAllister died in 1921. Moving upstairs, there is a beautiful staircase with extremely short handrails to accommodate Elizabeth's small stature. There are 3 designated bedrooms in the house, but the McAllister parents chose to use the guest room as their master, showcasing their simple Quaker lifestyle. This room didn't have a stove, so Henry designed a heating system using the chimney from the kitchen to transfer heat into the room. Consequently, the room stayed very warm in both winter and summer. Victorian hair art might have been used for decoration in the room since it was a common practice at that time. This room contains the original bed that Elizabeth passed away on. The cedar attic can be accessed through a Victorian keyhole doorway featuring Stratton's knobs and notches. This room was originally intended to be the master bedroom. Inside is a beautiful Gothic window that looks straight out at Colorado Springs' greatest attraction to this day, Pikes Peak. The children's bedroom also shares a beautiful view of the mountains through their window. All 3 children shared this single bedroom, which had a stove for heating with a humidifier to combat Colorado's dry climate. This room contains Harry McAllister's original bed. When walking downstairs, there is a clear view of Abraham Lincoln's original mirror. This mirror is not original to the house, but was added later. The next room is the dining room, which is probably the most Victorian space in the house. This room contains a 3rd coal-burning fireplace identical to those in the library and parlor. There are plenty of fine china and silver pieces, as well as several furniture pieces from Philadelphia. It houses the original McAllister high chair used for the children. Moving into the kitchen, there is a perfect example of the unique construction of the McAllister home. The walls were built 20 inches thick due to a windstorm that occurred during the construction of the house. Henry wished to take extra precautions to protect his family, so the house was extremely structurally sound with the roof anchored onto the foundational walls. The indoor kitchen was interestingly added to the house about 2 years after initial construction. It was kept separate to decrease heat and smoke in the rest of the home. It was one of the first indoor kitchens in Colorado and featured built-in cabinets, which were very modern for their time. The kitchen also had an ice chest and a coal-burning stove. Elizabeth McAllister often drove nails into the wooden floorboards whenever they creaked, and the aftermath of her habit can still be seen today. Another piece of history in the kitchen is found in the hidden faucet. The second owner of this house, Fanny Robbins, wished to maintain the old look of the house, but also needed the functionality of a faucet in order to run her candy shop out of the house, so she chose to hide it behind these doors since it was not originally there. The kitchen also had access outside that leads to the carriage house where the McAllisters kept their wagon, horses, and cow. Today, the carriage house displays information about Henry McAllister and functions as a gift shop for museum guests. Other notable features on the exterior of the brick home are the shutters, which only open from the outside, and the truncated gables on the roof designed for wind and waterproofing. The Gothic window in the attic can be seen in the front of the home with a pointed gable. The front of the house also features a small veranda for seating next to the front porch right below the library window, which would have been blocked by a wind hedge to further protect the home. The ample size of the land plot at the McAllister house was used for apple orchards and experimental gardening. Only the stump of the original apple tree remains. It is protected inside of a bench. The side yard also features the original well next to the house. The McAllister house is a foundational part of the Colorado Springs community. McAllister moved to Colorado when it was still a barren land, but he and Palmer were able to establish a new community and grow the city of Colorado Springs. McAllister received many titles in the community, such as President of the Board of Town Trustees, Vice President of the State Horticultural Society, and Chief Clerk to the Board of County Commissioners, among many others. When he died in 1921, the family rented the home to Fanny Robbins for her wedding and candy gift shop. After Fanny's death, the house was sold in 1958. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1973. Overall, the McAllister house is a perfect example of a low Victorian style with Gothic revival influence. The McAllisters' Quaker faith influenced their design choices, which resulted in a simple country farmhouse that was foundational to the history of Colorado Springs.